Where did all the money come from? How did he get rich?
So one of the people that Vicky Ward interviewed in 2002 was a guy that Jeffrey Epstein had helped send to jail, a guy named Steven Hoffenberg, who ran a company called Towers Financial. It was engaged in a Ponzi scheme. He had taken $100 million from Hoffenberg, from the company, and hidden it offshore, and then went to the authorities and cooperated with them to get Hoffenberg thrown in jail. And since Hoffenberg had pled guilty, there was no discovery or anything like that, and he just went away for 18 years, and Jeffrey Epstein...
He did 18 years?
18 years, yeah.
Mr. Hoffenberg, you spent 9 years interacting directly with Jeffrey Epstein in the workplace. What kind of man was he?
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein was a very unusual man in his desires and dreams to come out to become ultra powerful and ultra rich. His whole life was a platform to become rich and powerful, and that was his focus daily. And it was a very unusual personality, a lot of ability. He had a unique way of getting under your skin and was charming, very nice to deal with, very kind in the way he would manipulate you. This was a master manipulator, and that's the type of personality he had. He did seek to control the person he was befriending, and he did a great job at that, terrific job at that, as you've seen with two presidents of the United States, Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, and your Prince Andrew in the UK. He got under his skin, terribly so.
And why do you feel a sense of responsibility, perhaps even guilty, about his meteoric rise into the strata of the so-called elite?
The way you pose the question, why do you feel the responsibility, or why was Jeffrey seeking to become part of the social elite? He used it as a business tool. That was his interest. As Ghislaine Maxwell became his number one business tool with Prince Andrew and President Donald Trump and President Bill Clinton and Leslie Wexner and Alan Dershowitz and Darren Indike. I could go on and name after name of people he was able to get under the skin with and convince that they should be friends of his, close friends of his. And he used all these people effectively, like he used me and set me up for the fall that I took in the courtroom, which is remarkable how he was named in the Towers Financial case, and then his name was removed, totally and completely removed from the cases. And there was no explanation provided to the Washington Post, one of the newspapers in Washington, D.C., who was able to secure all the transcripts. Jeffrey Epstein's name was in the case that I was set up in, and I should have gone to trial in, and I was stopped from going to trial, because if I would have gone to trial, Jeffrey Epstein would have been found guilty. And this whole terrible catastrophe would have never occurred. So please go ahead.
What about the pair of them, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell? Obviously, you spent a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein. Did you ever spend time with the couple, so to speak?
I refused to spend time with Ghislaine Maxwell only because I rejected the request of Jeffrey Epstein's handlers, which is the title given to the people that you work with if you're gathering intelligence. And Jeffrey Epstein was handled very effectively by Sir Douglas Leese and the Leese family, and they were assisting the folks in the UK with information that they were working on in the Middle East and around the world. And Jeffrey Epstein, after being thrown out of Bear Stearns, went to work for Sir Douglas Leese in the UK, traveling the world, doing business for him as an investment banker.
It's alleged that Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein had links to Israel's intelligence services, and that essentially Epstein would entice rich and powerful men into his various properties around the world, film their exploits with young women, sometimes underage women, in order to blackmail them. Do you know anything about this? Is there any credibility to these reports whatsoever?
Oh, yes. I work with the girl rape victims daily in interaction, and I spend a vast amount of time with these lovely girls that have been emotionally and psychologically traumatized by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She's as bad as he is, if not worse. And they took advantage and misused and raped these girls, the two of them together. It's the most disgusting, horrible set of crimes one could imagine. It's terribly evil, horribly evil. And
What's the
Ghislaine
bigger
Maxwell,
picture here, Mr. Hoffenberg? What were Jeffrey Epstein and his handlers and Maxwell, what were they hoping, apart from their own perverted sexual gratification, what sort of benefits were they hoping to get out of this?
well, they were able to secure a great deal of information about the consideration toward Israel. And I'm not trying to make allegations. I want to be sensitive to the point of not attempting to charge anybody, but I'm an eyewitness to what occurred. And I had direct interaction with all these principals. So I saw it and I heard it. And what they were doing was gathering information that would be important for Israel or the UK to understand about the thoughts of the politicians and the rich and famous people in America. That was the plan. And that was very effective. And Ghislaine Maxwell was actually in charge of that. People don't know that yet, but the victims have confirmed that Ghislaine Maxwell was in charge of the audio and videotaping systems that moved forward to the others involved in the audio and videotaping atrocities. These were crimes. Very sad.
Although his name is registered in Jeffrey Epstein's private jet's logbook, it is not shown or proved anywhere that he went to the island, except for these two witnesses. What more can you tell us?
Well, there are a number of witnesses that have established that President Bill Clinton did go to the island. And, you know, politicians in America are very worried and shocked about this Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein story. This is the worst political scandal in American history so far that's currently taking place. So President Bill Clinton wants to separate himself from this. But I spoke to the journalist that recorded that original story and did view the flight logs, and there was no question, unfortunately for President Bill Clinton, that he did go on the airplane and he was at the island, and that was confirmed by many sources.
Not to say that anyone said that they saw him doing anything wrong there, but that they saw him there, just to be clear, both the former employee and Virginia Giuffre, they didn't say that he did anything wrong. They just said that he was there, according to them. Could it be that President Trump, like many people around Ghislaine Maxwell, or who knew Ghislaine Maxwell, including her close friend, think that she may also have been a victim of Jeffrey Epstein, caught in his orbit and unable to leave?
Well, that is a ridiculous and outrageous point that should not be given any merit, because Ghislaine Maxwell is equal to Jeffrey Epstein in what occurred in the criminal misconduct for the $1 billion that is now available to be seized, and for the victim's tragedy. Ghislaine Maxwell is not a victim. Ghislaine Maxwell is somebody terribly involved in this case. And she must realize that her role is now to talk truthfully and straighten out her life. I believe she's in emotional shock.
Steven Hoffenberg, thank you very much for your contribution to Nexus Extra today. And thank you at home and on your mobiles for watching. Thank you.